there, my name's Daniel Grice. I'm a senior in the Penn State PGA Golf Management Program here at Penn State, and today I have two students new to the game of golf, and we're going to go over some chipping. But first, they're going to introduce themselves.
My name is Nathan Valco. I'm a senior here at Penn State. I've been golfing for about a year, and chipping is definitely the weakest part of my game, so I'm excited to learn.
My name is Mike Munoz. I'm also a senior here at Penn State. I'm also a beginner, and when Daniel told me about his chipping clinic, I thought I had to take it because chipping is definitely my worst part of my game.
Well, awesome. I'm happy to help you guys. So let's start off. So when you're chipping, first and foremost, what's the first club you kind of go to? Say you have a shot right here and you're hitting for the pin that's 8 yards in front of you. What would be the first club you would resort to without me telling you or giving you any advice?
My first club's probably my pitching wedge.
Pitching wedge? Why would you use a pitching wedge?
It's the club that I usually hit the shortest, so I figure I'm closer to the hole.
Okay.
I have a better chance of getting it there.
Awesome. Do you agree with that, Mike?
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, so I mean, when you're around the green, you kind of have options, and that's the nice thing about golf. There's no conventional way to get to the hole. However, what I'm going to tell you today is there are some easier ways, and I want to try to help you with that to the best of my ability. So when people have a shot like this, the first thing they'll say is, I'm going to use lob wedge or sand wedge. And when I see this, it's hard for me to help them because those are the hardest clubs to hit in your bag for a chip shot. For a full swing, that's different. But for chip shots, you have to be so precise with your wedges that it actually just makes the game harder rather than easier. So typically when I'm talking to newer golfers, I promote either a pitching wedge, which is a lot easier to hit than a lob and sand wedge, or even like an 8-iron. And you'll see there's so many different varieties and ways to get the ball to the hole. So for starters, if you guys just want to stand right over here for me, and you can watch, let's go over grip, because that's very important in golf and there's many options. Have you guys learned about any grips in the past, or do you want me to just go over all of them for you?
I have not.
You have not? Yeah, so in golf there's 3 different grips. They're called the 10-finger grip, the interlock, and the overlap. So here, if everyone watches me, I'm going to hold it with my left hand on top. The important thing when you're gripping a golf club is you never want to see your fingers turn white. You see how I'm squeezing the club really hard, and you never want to do that with anything. It's actually going to make you lose distance with the golf ball. And it's just like a misconception that you got to hold the club. You don't have to. Just make sure you got a comfortable grip where you're not hurting your hands. It should not hurt. So first off, I'll show you the overlap grip. So the overlap is where you take your pinky finger and you stick it right in between your pointer and middle finger on your left hand, just kind of overlapping it, and then putting the rest of your hand just like that. So if everyone wants to hold their club out like I am with my left hand, awesome. Then take your pinky, just put it right in between, right there, thumbs down, set the club to the ground. Awesome. That's the overlap golf grip. Next, I'll show you the interlock, and this is famous. Tiger Woods has done the interlock. So the interlock is very similar. So you're going to hold the club the same, but this difference is you're going to interlock your pinky with your pointer finger and then grip the club. So if everyone wants to do the same drill, let's hold the hand up, pinky in between pointer, and then just let the rest of our hand and then set the club down. Awesome. And then lastly, I tend to stay away from this, but if this is what's most comfortable for you, it's the 10-finger or the baseball grip. All you'll do is you'll just put your 10 fingers kind of together like that. And that's a super easy grip if everyone wants to just try that again for me, just so you can get the feeling of it. Maybe you like it the best. And yeah, set the club down. Awesome. So it's totally up to you which grip you want to do. I personally prefer the overlap. I have smaller hands and my hands just naturally fit it better, but if you want to do the interlock, I'm happy to help you with that as well. So do you guys have any questions for me also? Yeah, if you have any questions, please just stop me and ask. So the importance, so we're going to talk about chipping, like I said. So when we're chipping, is it more important to have a wide stance, middle, or narrow?
Would it be a narrow stance?
Narrow, yes, for sure. Yeah, so chipping, if you had a driver stance, say, this is my driver stance, it's going to be way too hard to hit the ball like that. It's challenging. So I like to do kind of just inside shoulder width apart. that's what I've seen is most comfortable, kind of just like that. You know, you could set it because it's a small swing, small stance, small, everything is small. And then the most important thing for chipping is ball position. And this is kind of a misconception that I've seen throughout the years, where sometimes people will put it in the middle, sometimes people will put it in the back, sometimes they'll put it in the front. Sometimes they don't even really understand where they're putting it or why they're putting it there. I personally like to do it just off my back foot. If you see how I have it right off my back foot, because it's consistent and it's the best way to make contact. So that would be my recommendation for you guys. And when you hit later, I'll take a look and I'll let you know what I see and everything. So when you're chipping, so we got grip, we got ball position. So next would be alignment. So when people are aligning a putt, they're allowed to move their ball and read the slope. For chipping, it's the same thing. The only difference is you can't touch your golf, unfortunately, because it's off the green. So one thing that I like to do is I like to stand behind the ball as such, and I'll like read the green. So if you're looking at this, we got a pretty big ridge left of this front pin. So that tells me it's going to break a little bit to the right because the hill is going that way. So when I'm looking, I'll find something on the grass. So like, let's see, right here, we got this dead piece of grass. You see that? Typically, you're not allowed to touch it, but just for the instructional purpose, I will. And that's what I'll aim to. Because especially, say you have 150 yards into a hole, you can't aim to something 150 yards away. That's just unrealistic and very challenging. So I'll stand behind the ball and I'll draw a line, and then I'll say, oh, there's that leaf or there's that twig. Let's aim for that twig. And then it's so much easier because you can just look literally a club length in front of you and line up to your target. And then that helps you with club face, feet, and everything. So I think that's very helpful when it comes to a line. So for this shot, like I said, it's going to break a little bit to the right. So I'm going to aim like right on this line, right at that dead piece of grass. So we're going to address the ball. And the important thing with chipping is, where do we want our hand position? Back, middle, or front? What do you think? Or what have you done in the past, I should say?
I typically do it from the back.
From the back? Why would you do it from the back?
I feel like you get more of the club face down.
So you're saying by putting your hands back, you get more loft?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's okay. So it's a common misconception. It's actually the opposite, and I'm going to tell you why. In golf, in order to hit the ball higher, you actually want to hit down on the golf ball. That's how when you see these tour pros and their ball spins back like 20 yards sometimes, because they actually hit down on the ball. So, because if you open the face, sure, the ball will go in the air, but it's not going to spin. You see how it's just releasing? So let's try, and a really good idea, and you both have golf clothes on, which is nice. The first belt loop. That's where I like to have the butt end of my grip pointing, because then it keeps my hands forward and the club face is still square. And as a result, I'm going to be able to hit down on it, and the ball's going to release lower, and you're going to have a lot more control with it down the line. So, yeah, so why don't I demonstrate? So I'm going to step up, close stance, grip, make sure I'm aligned. Shoulders parallel, or parallel to the ground, I should say. So you shouldn't be like this or like this. They should be parallel to the ground. And you always want to keep everything forward. Your weight should always be forward in golf, because if your weight's back, that makes it a little bit of a challenge to get power. The shoulder square, grip forward. So I missed that a little bit right, but we can improvise. That's why we're here, we're practicing. So does anyone have any questions for me? About
Nope.
ball position, hand position, any of that?
Okay.
Yeah, so do you guys want to give it a try?
Certainly.
Yeah, so why don't you guys come on in, let's spread out a little bit here. You both can go at the same time. I'll take a look.
Okay.
So Nate, what were we just discussing quickly
So
to go
we
over?
were discussing ball placement, how to keep it more lined up on the back foot, and to keep your hands forward in order to gain more loft on the ball.
Awesome, awesome. So here, let's give it a try. Remember, small swing. We'll take that one.
All right.
Pretty good, pretty good. All right, Mike, how about you? Let's see one. Pretty good. Just a little bit too hard. My one advice, and this is one thing I did forget to mention, when we are chipping, we never want to break our wrists. Just like how when we're putting, chipping is kind of like a pendulum motion. It's like 1, 2, 1, 2. If everyone wants to just do that for me. Even smaller. Good, good. Good, awesome. You guys want to hit one more for me?
Sure. Sorry.
That's all right.
Let's see. It's all right, just a little bit off the blade, but the form was very good. And in golf, I actually want you to focus more on your process and less on the outcome at first. Because if you only focus on outcome, most of the time you can't even control the outcome. And if your process was good, to me, you made a good swing. All right, let's see it, Mike. Excellent. Love that motion. I hope I was able to help you guys today.
Yeah,
You
this is
certainly
very
did.
helpful.
All
Thank
right,
you.
yeah. Well, thank you for coming out, and we should do this again sometime.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.